Hi, so one of the questions that we had in one of our classes this week was on about progression. And if you're at the gym or you do a lot of cycling or cardio work, then it might be a little bit different to what I'm talking about today. So I'm on about specifically kind of the classes that we run, which is movement and mobility stuff, a few Pilates style exercises, a few neuro exercises, and a few strength exercises, more body weight type. So some people may struggle to find out how they're progressing. So we spoke about this before, and we can talk about different scales. So one of the scales that is used across the fitness industry is the effort scale. Whereas if you come in and you do an exercise, maybe you'll do 5 or 6 reps of an exercise, and then you'll say, all right, what sort of effort level do you think you were working at? Could you have done more, or did you really struggle to do that 5 or 6 reps? So you might come in and say, well, I think that was an effort level of about 5. So on that first week, you've done this particular exercise, let's call it a bridge, and you come in, managed 5 reps, but you think it was an effort level of 5. Yeah? And it's difficult sometimes when you first start the exercise to really know if that's a definite 5, maybe it's a 4, maybe it's a 3, but you've labelled it 5. So over the next 4 or 5 weeks, you come in and then you still do that exercise. Maybe you do 5 reps of that exercise again in 4 or 5 weeks' time. But we look for 2 things. So we look to see if the effort level's gone down. So maybe it's only a 4 or 3 that you measure. Maybe you could actually do more reps for that effort level of 5. So maybe you can do 10 or 15 reps now for that effort level. Some people don't progress that quick. It could be over many months on there. So that's one way to look to see if you've improved. Now, the improvement may not be in strength. It may be when you first come along to a class that you're not very confident of the exercise. So you do a few reps of the exercise and you want to see if it feels okay the next day, or if you're not sure if it's right for you. And then the next time you come along, you feel more confident with the exercise. So for the same effort level, you can actually do more reps. So is this an improvement in strength? It might just be your confidence. It might be a neural connection. It might be you feel better doing it this week than the first week. So there can be different reasons why you improved. But if we take say a whole years of class, so I start at January to December, and you come in January and say you can do 10 reps of a bridge. Now, maybe in the class, it might be a rep range. We don't usually work to these rep ranges as such, but say we use a rep range of 10 for now, just for this example. So over a period of the year, you find out at the end of the year, you're still doing 10 reps through the classes. Now, you may have enjoyed the classes, they may have been feel like it's the best ever class, but in some sense, if I had done 10 reps at the start of the year on one exercise and I'm doing 10 reps at the end of the year, am I really seeing much progression? There could be reasons for that with certain medical conditions, so that sometimes that could be right. But if you're not got anything medically going on, then we want to see either them 10 reps were much easier to do, so my effort level may be a 2 or a 3, or I should be doing more reps. So if I'm still doing the same reps as I did at the start of the year, it means maybe that I haven't progressed. Another way of looking at this is I always say to people, maybe when you're at home, you can do a couple of video clips of you doing an exercise. So, one, it might be a side leg lift, it could be an oyster or clamshell type exercise, and maybe you can do it really well one side, and then when you video the other side, you can't do it very well. Then over 5 6 weeks, you decide to do another video, you compare it to the first one, and you can see that it's improved quite a bit. Because often you don't realise how much you progress. So there's different ways that we can look at progression. Now, your progression in some way is not going to be kind of uniform. So, we really don't want to see a straight line across, because there's going to be really not much improvement at all. Now, some people think your progression is going to be straight up, so every week you're going to improve. Now, that's pretty much not going to happen anyway. Maybe you're going to be away for 2 weeks somewhere on holiday. It's a different colour. So maybe, you know, your progression's been somewhere up here, but then you've got to go away for a couple of weeks. So you're going to be more like this. And then you might even get a blip down. So let's use this down, coming along. And then you might go up again a bit more from there, like so. So throughout the year, there's different reasons why you wouldn't progress. But a lot of time, the progression over the year would more likely be a little bit more up and down. Maybe not as much as that, but depends on what you've got on. Depends if you're training for events. Depends or you're trying to stay healthy. Maybe you're doing a few cycling rides. So a lot of the progression that we see is up and down, but we still want to see some progression from the start here to maybe up here, so that your level of fitness or health has improved to some degree. So that's when we know the exercises have probably worked for you. Now, is it your fault that if you don't improve? Well, may not be. You know, as we said, some medical conditions can affect that, but realistically, it might be the way that we've asked you to do the exercise. It might be the way that you feel you should only do 10 reps every week that you come in. And, you know, we've got to get over these kind of questions just so you know that we may have to do a few more reps each week, or that effort level isn't, you know, going to change very much on this side. So hopefully that's helped you today to understand a bit more on what we look for in our progressions.